All right, welcome back to Heart Has No Limits podcast. Got a good friend of mine that I met when I was drafted with the Nationals, DJ, Jet, Daniel Johnson. Great dude. I appreciate you jumping on the podcast with me, brother.
Thank you for having me.
No doubt. So just getting your background a little bit, where you were born, how you started. Obviously, you're a baseball player.
Right.
Was that your goal your whole life, or was it as you started getting older, you figured out like, okay, I'm good at this, maybe I should rock with it? Or yeah.
I'm from Vallejo, California, Bay Area, right outside of Oakland. I grew up playing every sport. That's how it was for us. We go outside, you play every sport. It was basketball one day, football one day, baseball the next. So I really didn't necessarily have like the love for baseball that you would expect, but it was really football and basketball. Those were my first two sports that I liked the most. Really, I would say out of those two, as I got older and older, it was basketball. But once I got to high school, obviously I was not growing as fast as everybody else was, and I'm like, yo, okay, like
I feel that.
I played AAU a lot, and I remember played against Aaron Gore one game, and I was just like, yeah, this ain't for me, bro. Like,
That's a different
he's
level.
way too advanced. Like, if at this rate, I'm not playing basketball. So, but I was always playing baseball every single year. So like I was still, active in it, and I was getting good at that also at that time coming into high school. So I'm like, you know what? Let me try baseball and see where that goes. And now we're here. So it definitely worked out, I would say.
No doubt. Do you think playing those other sports benefited you with ball? Because I know I played basketball too, and I'm like, that in itself, the different mind game on how obviously you're up front into people's face. It's not as like baseball. Obviously, you got your time. You could sit there for 3 innings and not do a damn thing.
I see both sides of it. Like obviously, I see the perks of playing every sport and just being an athlete. So like when I went to baseball from basketball, I was already in shape. So I just walked on the field and I was ready to go. But also the guys who play just baseball, you have the resources to do everything with baseball. You can kind of give you like a head start, as opposed to other guys who are playing every other sport. So I can see both sides of it. But like for me personally, I like playing every other sport just because it made me an all-around athlete.
I totally agree. Yeah. Did you have a defining moment in your career or life where you started realizing that your mentality and your mental side of the game is a separator? Like, I gotta take care of my mental side. Like, okay, I can't just show up and play. Like, this could be a separator. This is gonna make me different from that next person. Was there a moment?
Yeah, honestly, bro. When I had just got out of high school, I went to New Mexico State out of high school, and then I got cut from the team. And I went to I went to Northeastern Oklahoma, A&M, JUCO in Oklahoma.
Your freshman year, you ended up getting cut?
Yeah.
Through the whole season or fall or?
So I got cut out of the fall. So I went to the fall 2013 out of high school. They cut me, and the coach at the time was Rocky Ward. It was the Wards. His little brother Roger Ward was a coach at the JUCO in Oklahoma. So I played with like Ramon Laureano, who's on my team. Like Dean Dietz, Jake Jewell, other pitchers. So we were all on the team in Oklahoma. So I went there the spring of 2014 for my actual freshman year of college ball.
What?
So I played there for a semester.
So just in JUCO for a semester?
Okay. Yeah, for that semester, and I went back to New Mexico.
I know you were a JUCO bandit?
Yeah, I was JUCO. Yeah. I got the wrath of JUCO. It was crazy. No rules. Oh, it made you pay for it.
Doubleheaders every
exactly.
time.
Running poles and all kinds. Yeah. So I went to JUCO, and I played I remember we had a little practice game. Coach pitched, play the positions, 27 innings type thing, or 9 innings. But so I remember coming around second base, and I kind of tweaked my knee a little bit. I'm like, I didn't feel too good, So knee was kind of hurting for the rest of the season. I played on. I was like, whatever. I thought it was a little tweak, nothing too serious. After the season goes, actually we get to the regionals, and lay down the bunt, running to first base, meeting the pitcher to try to juke him out. Then my knee just gave out. And I'm like, dang, what was that? So was out for the rest of the playoffs, obviously.
Yeah.
Go back home. Got an MRI, tore ACL, MCL.
Everything.
Meniscus, everything. Knee was shattered pretty much. So at that point, the plan was for me to go from JUCO back to New Mexico.
So you wanted to go back?
Yeah, the coach was like, I want you to go here because his little brother was a coach there. So it's kind of like a little pathway. Okay, you go play the first semester, get a little bit of seasoning, come back.
Okay.
So I went over there. That was the whole plan. Was wanting to come back. Got an MRI. Knee was shattered. Fast forward a week later, the whole coaching staff in New Mexico State gets fired. So now I'm like, my plan was to go back, and now I'm hurt. Like what? So at that point, honestly, I thought baseball was done. I was like, I might be, done with this. And I called the coach that got hired, Brian Green, and he told him my situation. Like, hey, my plan was to come back. I was under Rocky Ward. I got a torn ACL. Like, but can I still come back? And he was like, yeah. So, I made a ballsy move. I was like, I'm gonna just go back.
Yeah.
No guarantees at all. I was a walk-on my whole college career. So, I think that point when I was at my lowest, of when I thought baseball was done, flipping that switch and saying, hey, making that ballsy decision, let's go. Let's see what happens. Yeah. Let's go try out, go rehab, and, see what happens.
So you either go left or right.
It was like no emotion, and it was like, okay, you got two options. Either you're done with baseball or you just make this decision and you go back and see what's in store for you.
What was your mentality when you're rehabbing? Because I kind of had the same thing when I was at LSU. I, luckily didn't have to blow out everything, but I ended up trying to make a juke move at second.
Right.
Went to plant and went forward, and I ended up tearing my meniscus, but it only took me about a month or two, and I knew it wasn't a major, it's not an ACL. What's your mentality while you're in it? Because I know some of the viewers are obviously going to have their own injuries of Tommy John, whatever. Are you fighting this? Is it going to come back? Or is it like, I'm coming back better than I was before? Like, are you going through roller coasters? Hey, obviously good day, next day bad day. Like, what's that?
It was honestly at the beginning, it was a little bit of a roller coaster, just because it was a fresh injury. I've never done it before. Yeah. I mean, I'm 18 years old at the time, so like it's just you're kind of young. You're not really as mature, so it's just kind of roller coaster a little bit. When I went to the regular family physical therapy, and that ain't the same as what I need as an athlete.
Right,
so I'm going to physical therapy. The family, and they're like, oh, well, you got a couple more sessions left. And so when I got to New Mexico State, because I wasn't on a roster, I couldn't technically rehab with the school.
Right,
so now I'm trying to so now I'm trying to find out outsource. But luckily, the trainer that I had, he willingly was like, "Yo, I'm gonna do it for you. Like, it's his first ACL. I'm gonna do it."
Wow.
And
so I had to take a little risk.
Yeah.
On that
So
too.
I was like, "All right, well." And then at that point, I was like, "You know what? Like, I made a decision." Mentality was like, "Yo, I'm gonna come back stronger than this. Like, I know I am. Like, I want to do it. I'm gonna be in rehab every single day. I did it from Sunday to Sunday, 3 hours a day. Like, I was tunnel vision." Yeah. And I was like, from this point, like, I'm going to do whatever it takes to not miss this next season. Like, I'm playing this next season. I have to play because I'm already making a decision to go back. I can't miss a season and try to go back the next year after that. Like, I have to play this season. It's coming up. So I was like, I got to do everything in my power to play this next season. And I cleared it. I got cleared in 5.5 months.
5.5 months from my ACL?
Yeah. 5.5 months. Like, I was not playing. It was not a game. 5.5, 6 months. I had
7 days a week, 3 hours a day.
I had surgery June 18th. I was cleared December 12th.
And you said this was back in 13.
This was back in 14.
14?
14, going into 15 season.
And the surgeries aren't what they are today, too, which is crazy. What? It said 9 to 12 months.
Yeah.
I mean, today, really.
Yeah, I've been in 5.5 months.
Any problems since?
No problems since.
Damn, bro.
And honestly, like, that rehab is probably the best thing that ever happened to me because me being so young, I was still, like, maturing. And once I came back from that ACL surgery, I mean, on my 2016, I go to my first pro day ever. I run a sub 6'3". I run, I'm throwing over 100 miles an outfit. I'm gaining my weight. I'm getting, stronger and faster. I'm like, I actually did come back fast, better than I did before.
Right.
So it was like a whole new person.
So it sounds like you wouldn't have changed that anyway.
No, I wouldn't change any of that. I think that me being at my lowest point at that point and making those decisions and, with no guarantees, really changed my mentality. Like, hey, like, you could do this, but you got to be able to stick to it and be consistent with it for it to happen, for things to change.
It's almost that feeling of like, obviously you're scared when that
Hell
happens because you don't know the future, right?
Anything unknown, you're gonna be kind of hesitant about. Like, I don't know,
right?
Because there's no guarantee. There's nothing that you can fall back on. You don't know, So
that feeling though, after getting through, obviously, I mean, you did tremendous on coming back. 5.5 months is crazy, but like that rewarding feeling, I feel like. When you're terrified of doing something, you've never done it for the first time, and then you're in it and you're starting to figure out, okay, wait, like, I'm still alive, I'm good, like, life's moving on, and then you get it done, and then you look back and you're like, why did I even freak out that bad? Like, it's, dude, you can't beat that feeling. Yeah. Was there somebody that helped you shape your mind? Did you have somebody you go to? Was it a book? Was there any type of, like, mantra that you live by now, back then, or like obviously the Kobe, the Mamba mentality?
Yeah, I mean, honestly,
It even could be hard as the limit.
I would say before I got to college, because honestly, like when I got to college, my coach Brian Green, he helped me kind of change that baseball wise, but just like kind of off the field and just life in general. It was really like my mom, coming up with my mom, because my mom, she had me when she was 19 years old, so we grew up together, type thing. So like I got to see, at the same, because like it's one thing to be a single mom at that age, but like people don't realize she's trying to figure out who she was as a woman. You know what I mean? It's not just she's a single mom,
bro,
but what were we doing at 19, 20 years old? You know what I mean? Trying to figure out who we were.
Right.
So imagine a single woman with a kid. So like right now I'm 29. Imagine having a 10-year-old right now. You know what I mean?
No.
Like, you know what I mean? So while she's trying to figure out how to raise a kid, she's also trying to figure out how to be her, who am I as a person?
Yeah.
Who am I as a woman?
Yeah.
So us growing up together, she was really self-sufficient. She had a lot of masculine energy. So like, obviously a woman can't really raise a man, but like watching what she did, it made me very masculine, me very self-sufficient. So when I got to the point of being on my own, I'm like, I got this. Like, let's do it. I've been watching her do it. I could do the same thing.
Yeah.
And as I got to college, with my coach, when he let me come back to New Mexico State, Brian Green, I remember he told me, I'll never forget, he said, you're like a toolbox with all the right tools, but no idea how to use them. And I was like, what do you mean? He was like, you have all these tools. If you just literally sit there and focus on how to use these tools to your advantage, you have no idea what you can do. And I never forgot that.
And he was talking about the tools and ball, like
ball,
all that,
life, everything, yeah.
Bro, I mean, sound like you got a hell of a mom.
Yeah, hell of a mom, though.
That's incredible.
Love her to death. Like it's crazy. I wouldn't even change that just because it molded me to how I am, and it actually helped her.
Yeah.
She can live her life through me kind of now.
Do you think? I mean, obviously, as we're getting older and stuff like that, when we're kids, you think your parents are put on the earth to be your parents. Like they just popped up.
Exactly.
But as we start getting older, like you start recognizing, like, dude, she was 19. What was I doing when I was 19? Right now, having a 10-year-old kid right now.
Right.
Taking that perspective of understanding, like, look, they're trying to figure it out too. I think some of the kids, obviously, that are watching this and just friends of ours that we know too, kind of butt heads with their parents.
Right.
They're kind of expecting them to know, hey, like, you should know I want this, or like, this is how you should have handled and stuff. But when you realize that they're just us grown up, trying to figure it out too.
Right.
Like, I talk about my dad. Like, I don't know how he did such a good job with me and my sister. His dad, unfortunately, passed away when he was 4.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah.
So he never knew him. But the biggest thing was he didn't have a blueprint for this.
No.
He didn't know how he had, my Mimi ended up getting remarried around, like, I think it was 16 or 17 for him. But I mean, at that point, you pretty much grew up without somebody in the house. But it blows my mind because I've got something to look at, to compare. This is what he did with me. I like this. I didn't like this, maybe. Not that there was much I didn't like, but like it's mind-boggling. And I think if kids can understand, especially the young ones in high school, when you think you got it all figured out, that, bro, they're trying their best too.
They are.
Give them a little leeway, give them a little grace, and I think the relationship will end up
100%. It's hard to do that when you're a kid, like you said. Is to give them leeway because you're young. You don't understand.
Right.
But as you, like you said, you get older, you just realize. I mean, and like I didn't have my biological father. I didn't have him in my life. I know who he is, but we don't talk at all. But I had my stepdad, who my mom was with since I was about 2-3 years old. We didn't start living together until I think I was in 5th grade. And at first our relationship was kind of like a little bit rocky. I mean, it was respectful, but it was awkward in the sense that like I know who my father is, but he just doesn't want anything to do with my life.
I mean, dude,
and you got the other guy who doesn't want to. I don't want to be too forward and act like I'm your dad.
Right.
But at the same time, you don't have the father figure. I want to be that for you, so I got to find that happy medium. So now, like that I'm an adult, we talk a lot now. We talk all the time. I can go to him about things.
Yeah.
But before that, a lot of things I figured out on my own because my mom can't teach me that. She can't teach you how to be a man.
Right.
So only so much she can teach you. But at a certain point in time, I was figuring out a lot of things on my own. How to shave on my own, how to do things on my own, So at first it was kind of weird not having that guidance, but looking back at it now, the fact that I was able to learn things by myself, I wouldn't change that either because now I'm so eager to go learn things, go do things. I don't need anybody else. I can do it myself.
Right.
Type mentality,
Yeah, and I mean that's so big time when you're not crushed up with, oh, I need help doing this or that.
Yeah.
Just, oh, I need to do this. I don't know
Yeah.
how. Let's go figure it out.
Or ask questions or YouTube. Like I used YouTube in high school
University.
how to baseball stuff, like baseball drills, like all kind of things. You know, I didn't have those resources growing up, so it was a
Figure it out.
yeah, survival of the fittest.
Survival of the fittest, for sure. Was there I'm sure there was there a moment that you were like, I just want to quit? Like, obviously you talked about when you got released your freshman year. Was that one of it in Pro Bowl? I mean,
Honestly, no.
Like,
When I got cut from the team, because I was one of the last cuts. When I went to, like, you know how you go to the fall in college, you got a bunch of guys who try out. We had 83 guys.
What,
35-man roster? Yeah, 83. So people going there knew, like, we're not all making this team. We know that. Some people are going to be cut. So I was like, I think that was the last cut. And actually that lit a fire in me because I was like, there's no way. Like, I know that I can play with these guys on this team right now. And you know that I can.
Yeah.
But whatever the case may be, so that kind of lit a fire in me. So I would say, I don't think I really ever had that moment of wanting to quit, honestly. Like, whenever something happened, like, I never took no for an answer.
Yeah.
That was my mentality. I'm not taking no for an answer. I've been told no so much growing up as playing with because I was a late bloomer. So when I was, playing baseball with my friends and cousins on AAU teams and, summer teams, it was games I wasn't even starting. Like, I was coming off the bench sometimes playing, or like go start one game, but when it came down to it, I was on the bench playing. I wasn't, I was being told no, you're not playing. I remember I was in high school, go to a tournament, had doubleheader. I didn't play either game. On the bench the whole day. I was catching bullpens with a lefty catcher's mitt. I'm like, what are we doing? Like, like.
And then you're fighting yourself the whole time. Like,
I know I'm
exactly
not this guy. Like, I need to be out there.
I think just being told no so much
Yeah.
early on, like, I was like, I'm not taking no for an answer anymore. Like, that ends today. At some point, it ended. I'm like, I'm not taking no for an answer. I'm going to do whatever I can to force your hand. You're going to let me play.
That's it.
You're going to see why.
You're going to give me, when I get my opportunity,
you're going to understand why you should let me play a long time ago.
Yeah.
So.
Do you have a failure that was, I don't want to say detrimental, but that was just such a tough failure for you that later on in life you look back and was like, that was a major lesson for me? Like, that hit home. Like, I'm glad, I know we talked about it earlier, like, I'm glad that happened because of where I am. Was there something in ball where you were struggling with something in ball or something outside of ball where, like, this is a major lesson for me?
Yeah, 100%. After 2017, like when you got drafted, I had got the player of the year that year in 17.
Right.
And then they had.
And then you were going to the fall
league.
league.
They had foul league. They had fast tracked me to AA. Started 18. I'm like, oh, okay, I'm going to AA. I kind of skip high. I played a couple games there, so I'll go to AA, and start off I think the first month hitting like 130. It was cold. I was like, yo, I don't think I'm gonna be able to play in the big leagues at this rate. Like, it was that little voice in the back of my head, like, yo, you keep this up, or this is how it is. I don't know if I can, I kind of started doubting myself a little bit, and that was honestly one of the most humbling years for me because not only did that happen, but, a lot of injuries happened, and that was the year Soto got called to the big leagues.
Right.
And I remember sitting right next to him in the locker room when they, called him up to the big leagues. So.
And from AA?
Yeah.
In Harrisburg?
Yeah, because he went low A, high A, AA.
Yeah, he started with us at 98 at-bats. I remember talking to, Banks.
Yeah.
And I'm like, bro, that dude's different. And I was like, he's going to be in the big leagues this year. He's like, you don't know who you play for. And I'm like, I promise you, I don't care who we play for. That dude's different.
Yeah.
And then it was 98 at-bats, 2 weeks in high A.
8 games in AA.
8 games in
Gone.
AA, and then see ya.
Yeah, so, and I remember I had, after he got called up, there's another injury. And they were, telling me AA, yo, hey, like, you might be the next one. Like, because at the point in time I was hitting like 300 in AA. I flipped the switch.
Right.
But I had broke my handmate. So then I was down for 6 more weeks. So came back and they were like, yo, we're just going to keep you here. We don't want to send you up there and have something, they hold something against you, for not being yourself.
Right. Yeah.
So I stayed in AA the rest of the year, back to the fall league. But like looking back at it now, like after being traded to Cleveland in 19, looking back at that 18 year, that was like one of the best years I've ever had. Most humbling years. It was the 1 year that was really good for me because after coming off a high horse, and I was pretty humble about it. I wasn't, showboating around like a player of the year.
Yeah, but still, bro, yeah.
But having that humbling year like that, let you know, like, hey, like things can change that fast.
Yeah.
The moment you think you got to figure it out, okay, like watch this punch in the mouth. Like sit down for a little bit and really, really evaluate and, just stay consistent in that same process. Keep trusting that process as you go to each level to level. Like don't come out of it and try to be on your high horse a little bit and like, oh, I did it, I can do it again, because baseball is a very humbling sport, so that 2018, and I had two guys, Zach Collier and I had Kai Norfolk. They're my roommates in 18, and those two guys were a lot older than me. I was 22, they were at the time 28, 29. So they were a lot older than me, so they gave me a lot of advice just about being a professional and it's life, because they've been around the org for so long. That was my second full season, and I was already in AA with them. They're like, yo, this young kid, but they taught me so much. I tell them all the time, they taught me so much, and that year just taught me a lot about how to be a pro and how to really trust the process and how to be patient, and once you get knocked down, how to be able to flush that memory and become back present the next day, how to stay present in the moments of each day.
So we've been talking to a couple other guys too on the pod, and it seems like these cliche words of don't get too high, don't get too low. It's very easy to say, and you hear the coaches and people say it all the time, but what you just explained is like what I think it takes to actually understand what the highs and lows are. Like you learned, hey, I freaking got off to a hot start. I was, head honcho at the time, like top player in the league, and then you got humbled. Right. And then you started talking to these older guys that had been in,
just been around for
a while in the org. And then it's like, okay, now I'm starting to figure out like how to hold myself. Have that good game, I'm only here, not getting up here. Have that bad game, instead of getting here, I'm just here. Learn from it, and then take it on to the next.
100%.
That's what's up.
I think that when you, playing baseball so long, when you learn how, when you have those good days, you go 4 for 4, and then you have the bad games, you go 0 for 4. You got to be able to, when that game's over, to have the same attitude regardless of the outcome. Deal with those bad days the same way you deal with good days. Yeah. I went 0 for 4, okay. What did I do? Come back tomorrow. Yeah. 4 for 4, okay. Have a good game. Come back tomorrow. That's how you keep going and keep that consistency, Yeah. Because you're going to have bad days in baseball.
Oh, 100%.
There's no dodging them. It's going to happen. You can acknowledge it, get past it. Next day, present.
What's one thing about an athlete from the outside looking in people wouldn't understand? Because
what it takes.
What it takes behind the scenes.
What it takes, 100%.
A lot of people just think they turn the TV on. You run out there, you play, game's
over.
That's the
easiest part.
Right.
That's the easiest part.
They turn it off, and then they go to their lives, and it's almost like we're computers, like we shut down until next game time, then we come back up.
Yeah.
It's everything in between.
Everything
for the
in between.
athletes.
Everything in between. From the moment you wake up in the morning, just the mindsets of getting yourself, okay, got to go to the field today. You got your routine. You're gonna get the hot tub. You get the stretching. You get the soft tissue. The going to the cages, getting your ground ball work outside, come back in, eating your food, getting your mind back ready, then you go play the game. Yeah. You got a 7 o'clock game, all the fans come. I've been at the field already for 7 hours already. Right. So you have no idea what it takes. And then, just being in the off season where there's no guidance. There's nobody telling you what to do. You're on your own. So if we want to, we can just, all off season, report, okay, cool.
Show up.
So, so the discipline that it takes to, go into off season. Now, when my job's technically over, baseball, my job now is to be ready for the next season. Yeah. With no guidance. You're an adult. Do what you want to do. Right. However you want to work out.
Your career.
Your career is your career.
Right.
So that's also hard because that makes you, how am I going to do this? What routine am I going to build out of baseball when I'm at home in the off season for 4 or 5 months? Yeah. So that part of the consistency and discipline also plays a huge factor because that's what ultimately get you ready to go do what you have to do again in season, So all the behind the scenes, even in the nutrition, everything like that.
Sleep on it. It is so hard.
It's 90% of everything. Yeah. Nutrition. The food is medicine to us, especially athletes. It's medicine to us. Yep. So literally, honestly, just behind the scenes, it's a broad statement, but just behind the scenes of everything of an athlete is literally what it takes. What people don't see.
At the end of the season, you more physically tired or mentally tired?
Mentally tired.
Mentally?
Yeah. Physically, because it gets to a point where you kind of just numb out. You know what I mean?
Literally,
then you get to.
I feel terrible. I'm gonna still feel terrible.
So you got a 150 game schedule. You get to 140. It's we was joking around. Oh, we got 10 more games. We ain't going to playoffs this year. What if we had 10 more? We'd be like, honestly, bro, what does it matter? What does it matter? We already played 150. What's 160? Okay,
right.
10 more games.
Completely numb.
But mentally, having to be able to, because you don't really understand the mental toll it takes on you, focusing on being present trying to be present as best you can each day. Not worried about that 0 for 4 you had. Now you face another good pitcher, thinking I'm gonna do it again. Oh damn, like I had 4 yesterday, I can't do that again. I gotta get at least a couple hits today. How that mental toll it takes to really flesh that out, be present. Because the thing about it is, whatever you did in the last game, people don't care about. What are you gonna do now? You know, so that mental toll it takes to go day to day and really be present. And finally you get home, you're just like, damn, like, whew, like, you know, now I can be present just here. I don't have to play baseball right now no more, you know. So yeah, I would say you're definitely mentally tired. And baseball is just one of those mental games where there's so many uncontrollables that it takes that mentality to really be at the top level and be the best. That's what separates, you know, big league guys from a lot of the minor league guys, is that mentality. Not physical. We come out of college, we can physically play like you, but the mentality is what separates us. How can we be present? How can you still trust that process? How can you, no matter what happens, what outcome happens, how can I still be the same person I was the day before, and then the next day, and then the next day?
Consistency.
Consistency and discipline are 2 hand-in-hand words.